Hi, Jess. I had so much fun on Tuesday night seeing you, swing dancing with you, and learning all about coding from you. I really hope that the rest of the Code.org conference is going great, and I can't wait to hear more about it later. Jess, today I want to talk to you about the Enneagram. And I'm sure you've heard a lot about it because it's very in vogue right now, and a lot of people are talking about it. And I heard about it too and was curious. So I heard a lot about this book, The Sacred Enneagram, and I just really wanted to check it out. And I thought this would be a good way to learn about the Enneagram. I actually got it from the library and then was enjoying it so much but didn't finish it in time, so I just bought it. So if you ever want to read it, you can totally borrow it from me. But I really enjoyed this book, Jess. I know you saw me reading it at Betsy River, and it took me a long time to finish it, but I finally did, and I really loved it. I've been finding that I really love introspection and things about why we think and act the way we do. That just fascinates me a lot. And so this book kind of hit that sweet spot for me. I've heard a lot of people say a lot of really great things about the Enneagram, and I was really curious, but I wasn't super sure about it, that it would work, because I don't know, all those personality tests, Myers-Briggs, the other ones, I just was always kind of skeptical because I felt like there can't possibly be that few of categories. There can't be only these types of people in the world, because people are so unique and different, and how can you put each individual person into a box like that? But I checked it out anyway, and for me at least, it totally worked. Before I was halfway through the book even, Erin and I both found types that really, really resonated with us, and everything that the book said about those types, we were like, yes, that's me. And it was really amazing and also a little bit terrifying that a book written by a complete stranger can somehow know so much about you, but I guess that's why the Enneagram works for so many people and why they love it. I think what the Enneagram has over a lot of other personality tests is it's much more than just a test. It's much more than just you fit into this one box. It uses your most basic and most intense need to determine which number you are. And obviously everyone has a lot of different needs, but everyone has one dominant need that supersedes all of the other ones, and that's what they use. And then along with that, you have a basic virtue that is the highest, best thing that you value and the best thing about you. And tied to that number are other things. It has fixations and just all the things that we do to try to reach for our needs, and also to sort of cover up what we see as our failures. And so in that way, the Enneagram shows you what you're like at your best and what good you can offer the world, and also what you're like at your worst and how that presents itself depending on who you are. And all in all, the Enneagram is not really just about finding your personality type. It is about your identity. And it actually says that the personality is sort of like the mask or the covering that you wear on top of your identity. And using the Enneagram is how we can find our true selves underneath all of those layers. And I don't know about you, but sometimes it starts to sound a little bit, I don't know, hippy-dippy, a little bit new agey, and in some ways that's because it's rooted in so many different religious practices reaching back millennia. It is very trendy right now, but it's not a new thing at all. And just, I think those terms like your true self and your path and using meditation and things like that are just not things that we're familiar with in our Dutch CRC European world. But having read this book, I think that those are things that we can learn from and could use more of. And what I love about this book in particular is it doesn't just tell you, okay, this is how the Enneagram works, this is who you are, have fun. It tells you how to use the Enneagram along with contemplative practice like meditation and silence and solitude and specific prayers and things like that to find your way back to yourself and ultimately find your way back to God, because God is the one who made your true self and the one who loves you at your core for who you really are, not just for who you say you are or who you present yourself to be in front of other people. So that's what I really, really loved about this book in particular, and I found a lot of value in it. And having read more about contemplative practice and about like Father Richard Rohr and other people who specialize in that, I just feel that that's something that we are sorely missing in the Reformed CRC world that I live in. And it's not something that I've heard a lot about, but it sounds like something very helpful. There's a lot of talk about silence and solitude and stillness, which are all things that we just actively avoid in Western culture, I think. But they're things that we need. And he uses the Enneagram to show how the things that we need the most, we actively resist, because it's just a little bit scary sometimes to face your true self and to face what's really inside you, no matter how much you try to deny it. If you're curious about what my type is, I am type 3. I think I'm going to make a second video all about my type and what I've learned from it, because I would really love to talk about it more, but I just don't have time right now. So look for that in the future. If you're wondering about how to find your type, I think, based on what I've read, the best way is to just read the descriptions. You can find them online at the Enneagram Institute. There's a website there. Or read this book or another book about the Enneagram. They should have descriptions. And you can take tests and stuff, but they really, really rely on you being honest with yourself about who you are, not just who you want to be or who you think you are. So I think just the best and easiest way is to read the descriptions and just decide for yourself. And something that I've heard people say over and over again is that with the Enneagram, the type that you are is the description that you are most uncomfortable about, because it just really gets at your core self and it gets at your fixations and the flaws that you try so desperately to hide. But it also is really encouraging, at least in this book. It talks about your flaws, but it also talks about the ways that you can bring the most value to the world and the ways that we are uniquely gifted. So again, I would really recommend you read this book, The Sacred Enneagram, Finding Your Unique Path to Spiritual Growth. It was very dense for me, I will say that. And so I don't know if it's everyone's cup of tea. There's a lot of psychology language and stuff like that, and there's contemplative practice stuff. But I really enjoyed it personally. But I've also heard that there's a book called The Road Back to You by Ian Morgan Cron and Suzanne Stabile. I haven't read that, but it's been recommended to me by a friend, and that's, I think, a little bit more approachable. So definitely check that out. I'll put the link down below. I really, really enjoyed learning about the Enneagram and learning about myself through it. And I was really excited to share it with you. So I hope if you check it out that it helps you as much as it helped me. And thanks for listening. Now I'm going to sign off because in a few hours we are going camping again. I love you so, so much, Jess, and I will see you on Monday.